Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Bloodborne PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Beast Cutter, which is a weapon that was added in the DLC. Now, this weapon right here, guys, is one that is very powerful and has some of the highest base damage in the game. However, its scaling leaves a bit to be desired, but even still, it does a fair bit of damage and is a very good weapon. So let's get started with it. The Beast Cutter requires 11 strength and 9 skill in order to wield. It has a C scaling in strength, a D scaling in skill, and a D scaling in arcane. And as I was saying, that is a tad bit low, which is made up for by the fact that this weapon has 184 base damage. The attack rating for me is around 530 with this weapon, and that's pretty much it as far as the basic info is concerned. Now, in the first form, it's going to be a shorter range mode for the weapon, and it uses some medium speed slashing R1s that have a decent amount of range to them, and its R2s, uncharged, are some slow, very wide slashes. The fully charged R2, however, is an overhead smash, which is very damaging. This weapon is very good in the first form when you're in a tight area, and that's all well and good, but where it really shines is its secondary form. The secondary form is going to have slow slashes, but they have an extremely long reach. Like, ridiculously long reach. It's kind of amazing how far you can be from someone and still be in range to hit them when you're in your second form. So, while in the second form, your R1s are slow slashes, like I said. Your R2s are overhead smashes with long reach, and there are follow-ups to that. Your R2 does have a follow-up attack, which is of course a good thing. However, there is no charged attack, and that, leaves a little to be desired. It makes it so you're lacking a little bit in terms of variety, but this weapon makes up for it with how useful its backstep attacks can be. So your backstep R1 is a very wide slash moving from left to right that's got a large amount of range to it. But my personal favorite attack with this weapon would actually be the backstep R2, which is a stupidly long-reaching thrust. It's really cool, and I'm a big fan of that attack. Transform attacks with this weapon are also very useful. Well, while you're in your first form, and you're doing your transform attack going to the secondary form, it's a very long-range overhead smash. And going from second form back to first form is a very short range smash, sort of like you're going to just smash the thing down on their foot and just crush it. Which is honestly kind of good. It has very good tracking despite its short range on its transform from the second form to the first. Other than that though, guys, it's a pretty straightforward weapon. So as far as the pros of it are concerned, it's got some good damage despite the fact that its scaling is not overly high. And it's got an amazing amount of reach in its secondary form, in case you haven't caught on by now. It's good at catching people off guard because they might not necessarily expect to be in range, which is of course a good thing for you, and, well, they don't always appreciate being hit from so far away. For example, this guy right here, that was a pretty good amount of range that I had on him when I got him with that backstep R1. And that attack does come out surprisingly fast as well, and it appears to come very fast from your opponent's point of view, considering it's just coming straight at them with that backstep R2. So, definitely a good thing. Other than that, free aiming the uncharged first form R2 can be useful due to the wide sweep that it has, and free aiming a lot of the running attacks with this weapon would be a very good choice due to the fact that they are also sweeping attacks. And, understandably, that can be to your benefit because sweeping attacks are just wide swings anyway. And, if you can make it even wider, increase your range, make it a little more precise, that's always a good thing. So, other than that, we're down to the cons of the weapon, and there aren't terribly many. The first one and the biggest one would probably be how slow that it is. It's not the fastest weapon out there by any stretch of the imagination, so it's not going to be terribly good if you are attempting to trade hits. It's especially not going to be good in that regard due to the fact that the stagger that this weapon has leaves a lot to be desired. Its stagger potential is not very good, and a lot of other weapons do have the ability to just sort of out-trade it as far as that's concerned. Not a really good thing, but ideally you shouldn't be hitting, or ideally you shouldn't be getting hit that often anyway, so it is what it is. Aside from that, the last con of the weapon that I have would be its second form. The wide swings in it can leave you open to a counterattack, and of course that is a bad thing. You don't want that. And you know, with how slow they are, people can easily dash in and get around you, which is why unlocking would be something beneficial to do in a lot of cases. Also, with its overhead swings being the speed that they're at, again, it leaves you very open, it's easy to dodge them, and overall it's just not a good thing to rely on. So it is what it is. But that's really all I've got left to say about the weapon, so there is one fight left after this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please stick around for the last fight. It's relatively short, and it's a pretty decent one, so I think you guys will like it. But anyway, last fight starts right about now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.